Hello everyone, including the creepy guy standing right behind you. Ooh. In this video, we are going to be talking about a particular AI style and certain AI behavior traits that was in Halo Combat Evolved so many years ago. Now these particular traits that I'm going to be talking about, I feel have diminished over each installment of each Halo game. It must be said that certain shooters such as Halo should deviate from the generic bullet spongy traits of distinguished adversaries and instead just make these adversaries that are supposed to be more skilled or a lot harder to kill, just make them harder to hit, but be rather predictable with their movements and their animations at the same time. I will get into this a little bit more and elaborate some more. Now, when it comes down to bullet spongy adversaries, it is understandable how some enemies will welcome a bullet sandwich right to the face with some taunting dialogue and some witty one-liners with a health bar right over their head. Certain games call for that type of style, but they are mainly seen in massive multiplayer online games, role-playing games, and real-time strategy games. Although we have seen a health bar on a bullet spongy enemy in Halo before, and it's not with Halo Wars, but it is with Halo 5 Guardians. Will the next Halo resurrect that Halo 5 Guardians Warzone game type where you have PvP, player versus player, as well as PvE, player versus environment? So you have people that you go against around the world, but you also go against the computer as well. If this were to be the case in the next Halo, if they were to bring this game type back, I want to watch out for the AI, because I believe that the AI has been dumbed down quite a bit based off of their behavior traits. If they're a difficult boss, they're just going to be extremely accurate with almost Twitch-like reflexes to where you can't really predict what the next move is going to be. There is a difference between being able to predict a little bit before your adversary what they're going to do, but have them still be very tough to fight, rather than being just unpredictable in a split second to where it's just not fun to fight the adversary. If this is a little bit hard to understand, don't worry, I will explain. And I have talked about this topic before in one of my other videos named 7 Details Halo Needs as a subtopic. I didn't really dive deep down into the actual topic itself. It was pretty quick, so let me elaborate. Take a look at this gameplay clip of Halo Combat Evolved as I am shooting at the elites. We see the elites who are the commanders of the Covenant troops on the battlefield of Halo Combat Evolved. We see these elites are being evasive in a realistic way. Now I know what you're saying. How do I know what a realistic evasive maneuver looks like from an alien? Okay, fair enough, nerd. But I do know that elites are roughly a 7 foot tall, 200 to 300 pounds of lean muscle controlled by a mind of an intelligent tactician. Elites are protected by an energy shield as well. However, at the first strike of a 7.62 round fired from a UNSC assault rifle, it's as if the fired upon elite realizes that more of those 7.62 rounds are coming, and there's going to be one after another, and they're going to pack a punch. So, the elite sprawls out of the way and fires back as your assault rifle bullets are being deflected off of his shield and perhaps hitting nearby cover. The elite fires back with their burning plasma rifle rounds, and those accurate shots from the elites make you take cover, and you may attempt to find a way to flank or even remain in cover just to find another way to outsmart the Covenant. Perhaps you distract the elite as your friend or your Marine allies fire at the elites. The elite looks at you, and then he looks at your Marines, and you get the idea. The movement of the AI in Halo Combat Evolved is just so reckless, and it meets with desperation within these little firefights. It's what creates depth with a shooter. Encounters in the other Halo games, a lot of them feel too conformed, conservative. They're not necessarily the brawly type of gunplay that was found in Halo Combat Evolved, or as JR likes to put it, a slobber knocker. A lot of animations are just too abrupt and quick, and they just look a little bit odd. Having the smooth animations that we saw in Halo Combat Evolved, it doesn't make it easier. The elites were still difficult to fight because the Covenant were abundant. However, Halo Combat Evolved's legendary difficulty was very addicting in a way, but with the quick jarring animations in all the other Halo games except for Halo Combat Evolved, fighting the enemy just feels kind of annoying. It's like trying to shoot at a little chihuahua, not a chihuahua, like a really fast fish in a bucket. Shooting a fish in a bucket should be very easy, but if you have this little goldfish that really moves at the speed of lightning, it's going to be really annoying actually. So then what do? Well, you toss a grenade in the bucket, obviously. In each Halo game with each encounter, you have decisions. In Halo Combat Evolved, the decisions you made on the battlefield were very critical. How do you take out the enemies? Do you finish off the grunts first and then you go for the elites? How do you counter the movements of the elites themselves? They just move in this fluid motion, unlike all the other Halo games that have come out. There is so much chaos felt through laying rounds into the enemies in Halo Combat Evolved, yet in Halo 5, and in Halo 4, and even in Halo 3. I know in Halo 3 you are allied with the elites and you fight the brutes, and the brutes should have a much different way of fighting in the Halo world than the elites, but you know, let's not get too nerdy about that now. But in the past Halo games, it feels as though you have like a little firecracker in your hand and a few sparks that are seen when you shoot at the enemy come out, yeah, but the adversaries tend to want to just stand in one spot and look at you, instead of being evasive and maneuvering around cover to try to outsmart you and flank you. What happened to this trait? It's completely gone. In this video, you see heroic and legendary in motion. This is what they're like, and I believe that it's a night and day difference between Halo Combat Evolved and all the other Halos that I'm showing you in this video. I do believe, however, the best way to convince somebody about this problem is to just let the audio play with the video of an encounter in Halo Combat Evolved compared to other encounters in other Halo games. I really want you to feel and hear the brutality that is felt through a scenario in Halo Combat Evolved. So here we go. You should be able to hear the difference.
I'm on your team! Wait for extraction. Take him down!
Accessing that console activated that large structure. Given the signal we heard, you think she's over there?
Possible.
Something seems to be missing from the Halo games in regards to the feel of Halo Combat Evolved's gameplay. And I do believe it's the response of your enemies and the way they move about the battlefield, as well as the sound effects of a powerful rifle laying into the enemy. And melee attacks in Halo Combat Evolved have a deeper and richer feel. It feels so meaty and brutal. Now let's do a quick shift to a topic that bothers many Halo fans. Many Halo fans are not happy with the Halo games inheriting some Call of Duty traits, and I agree. But if 343 wants to look at any Call of Duty game to incorporate some similar ideas into their Halo games, there is just one feature 343 should put into their Halo games that is seen in Call of Duty Modern Warfare 4, the remastered version. And it's not even something that began in Call of Duty. but it's playing with bots. Playing with bots in a first-person shooter was achieved on Perfect Dark, the Nintendo 64 version. Halo should have multiplayer maps that you're able to fill with bots to play against. What's the big deal exactly? Why hasn't this happened yet? I love playing Halo Online. I've done it for 14 years, back when Halo PC came out. If it can't be Spartans versus Spartans because of abilities or whatever the case is, alright, that's fine. But why not add in AI that was from the campaign? Adding allies and enemies to multiplayer maps would be a fun and fantastic casual mode to play, instead of just jumping into an online game with people who are ready to go, ready for action, and just want to destroy the other team. And you, unfortunately, you are that team that's getting destroyed. It's not always that fun to do. And so sometimes you will want to be able to play a multiplayer map with adding in some AI or some non-playable characters. I do want to make the difference between AI and non-playable characters because there is some AI in Halo 5 Forge. I have even mentioned in my other video of mine including NPC spawning in Forge, and now I know that seems like a rather saturated topic throughout the Halo community given that we have no guarantees this will even be possible, so a lot of us just assume spawning NPCs in Forge is never going to happen. But Halo is a billion-dollar franchise. Why can't assets be used to incorporate NPC spawning in Forge? Many people say that the AI for NPCs in Halo Forge mode won't work because they cannot travel amongst the terrain created by some amateur map creator without some designated path. Is that really the issue? Is that really the reason why we haven't had NPCs in Forge? Then why is it that in Far Cry 4, I can make a map from straight up nothing into a snowy forest with an occupied village with an abundance amount of enemies that have weapons such as mortars, turrets, grenades, rocket launchers, sniper rifles, machine guns, and I have an adequate number of NPC allies to raid the occupied village with? Not only have I made a map like this, but I've made over 50 others that are completely different, and the game works perfectly fine. The map editor in Far Cry 4 is what keeps Far Cry 4 population with hundreds of gamers creating awesome maps. Well, some of them are awesome, the ones that actually take their time making their maps. It's understood that Halo 5's awesome Forge mode is what keeps players coming back to see if there's a new map that is just amazing to play and has its own gimmick to it. Therefore, it should be clear to understand that if you could place NPCs in Forge in the next Halo, that is going to garner a much higher population for the Halo series back where it was before. I know that the firefight mode is supposed to take place of playing with bots on a multiplayer map. However, being able to play on a multiplayer map with actual bots, there's something to it that firefight mode just can't touch. Placing NPCs on a forged map will bring hours of replayability just on one map alone, and it will ensure that the Halo series continues its longevity. If you like this video, go ahead and leave a like and subscribe if you haven't already to Beelzebub Spun's channel, where I do creepypastas and gameplay videos. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. That creepy man is still standing right behind you, by the way.